Listen carefully, not casually, carefully, because what I'm about to say is supposed to feel uncomfortable. If it does not, it did not land. Right now, there is a man living inside your body who is quietly stealing your life. He wakes up before you do. He wears your face. He uses your hands. And every single day, he trades your time for comfort, safety, and excuses. He scrolls when he should be building. He waits when he should be moving. He tells himself tomorrow is safer than today. He fears risk. He fears embarrassment. He fears losing a paycheck more than losing his future. And because of that fear, he bleeds you dry, hour by hour, year by year. That man is not unlucky. He is obedient. And today, that version of you has to die, not metaphorically, functionally, because getting rich is not complicated, it is not mystical, it does not require genius, luck, or a silver spoon. It is brutally simple, brutal, because it demands that you become a different human being. Simple, because the rules have been visible for centuries. They were written clearly by a Florentine political realist who understood power better than almost anyone before or after him. 500 years later, his work is still feared, still misunderstood, and still ignored by people who work hard and stay broke. At the end of this video, you will be given a single passage from chapter 25 of The Prince. A passage almost no one applies to money. A passage that turns wealth from NCE into inevitability. If you stay until the end and act on it, your life in 12 months will be unrecognizable. But if you are still clinging to fairy tales about honesty, patience, and being a good person, leave now. Because what comes next is reality without anesthesia. Let us destroy the biggest lie you were fed growing up. The lie that says work hard, be decent, follow the rules, and He world will reward you. That lie is not accidental. It is structural. It is one of the most effective population control narratives ever created. Schools do not teach money. Parents do not understand money. Universities do not teach money. Jobs actively hide how money works. Why? Because the system does not need owners. It needs compliant operators, predictable workers, people who show up, do what they are told, and never ask who is extracting the value. Machiavelli wrote that men are so simple and so driven by immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims. Read that again slowly. You were not unlucky, you were conditioned. And as long as you keep believing the lie, you will stay exactly where you are. Rich people never believed that hard work alone creates wealth. They understood something far more uncomfortable. Wealth is power, and power is never given to people who ask nicely. Power is taken by those who understand the game and are willing to play it as it actually exists. Look at someone like Jay-Z, not the caricature. The real trajectory. He did not escape poverty by working harder than everyone around him. He escaped by owning leverage. He owned Mast, RS. He owned distribution. He owned brand equity. He understood early that talent without ownership keeps you dependent. Or take Ray Dalio in the early days of Bridgewater. He did not just trade better, he systematized decision-making. He built principles that outlived any single trade. He created an institution that printed money whether he was in the room or not. That is not hustle. That is structure. This brings us to the first rule Machiavelli understood long before spreadsheets existed. The poor sell time. The rich buy time. As long as you trade hours for dollars, whether it is 10 an hour or 500, you are capped by the calendar. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you cannot compound presence. Ownership is different. One product can sell while you sleep. One piece of software can serve millions. One piece of real estate can pay you for decades. One equity position can grow quietly while you are invisible. This is leverage, and leverage is the dividing line between survival and sovereignty. The poor ask, how much do I make per hour? The rich ask, how many times does this decision pay me? When you shift that question, everything changes. Your shed, your tolerance for discomfort, your patience, your friendships, and yes, your enemies. Because the moment you stop playing the role assigned to you, friction begins. That is the price of movement. Before we go further, lock this in. Go to the comments and write a short sentence. Something simple, something honest. I no longer believe the lie, or just 2 words. Time matters. This is not for the algorithm. It is for you. Public commitment changes behavior. If this perspective already feels different, subscribe to the channel and join a growing community of men who are done being managed and ready to build leverage, not excuses. This is not motivation, it is orientation, because in the next part we're going to talk about money as war. Not with weapons, but with attention, tion, and desire. And once you see how that war is actually fought, you will never look at business, brands, or people the same way again. Leverage, emotional warfare, becoming inconvenient. Once you understand that time is the trap, the next question becomes unavoidable. If selling hours keeps you capped, how do the people at the top escape the ceiling entirely? The answer is leverage. And leverage is not a buzzword. It is a force multiplier. It is the difference between pushing with your hands and moving things with machines. When you own leverage, your effort detaches from your income. When you do not, every dollar requires your presence. That is the prison most people never realize they are in. Think carefully. If you stop showing up, does the money stop too? If the answer yes, you do not own anything. You are just renting survival. The wealthy do not ask how much an hour pays. They ask how long the decision pays. One software product can sell while the founder sleeps. One YouTube video can generate income for years after upload. Knee warehouse in Dallas can throw off rent whether the owner is sick, traveling, or uninvolved. Bar. Hat is not luck. Hat is structure. This is why someone can work less and make more. Not because they are smarter or morally superior, but because they built something once that keeps working. A hedge fund manager does not trade harder than you. He builds a machine that trades without him. A creator who understands distribution does not post more than you. He designs content that spreads itself. The poor think in effort. The rich think in engines. Now here is where most people get uncomfortable. Money is not neutral. Money is war, not war with guns, but war for attention, emotion, and desire. And in that war, logic alone does not win. Humans are not rational, they are emotional. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He saw that people are driven above all by fear and desire. Those who master those forces do not just win elections. They win markets. Look at modern luxury brands. They do not sell objects, they sell identity. A luxury watch does not tell time better than your phone. A high-end car does not get you to the grocery store faster. What they sell is status, superiority, the feeling of being chosen. That is not manipulation. That is understanding human nature. When you finally accept that buy emotions, not products, you stop struggling to survive and start positioning to win. Consider someone like Bernard Arnault. He did not build the largest luxury empire in the world by inventing better fabric. He understood desire. He understood symbolism. He acquired brands that already carried emotional weight and amplified what they represented: prestige, scarcity, aspiration, that is, emotional leverage at scale. Or take Kim Kardashian, whatever your opinion of her. She did not sell makeup, she sold proximity. Proximity to an image people wanted to feel close to. That was not accidental, that was strategy. This is why sales is one of the highest paid skills on earth. Not because it is pushy, but because it sits at the intersection of psychology and leverage. The ability to frame value, to trigger desire, to reduce fear, and to guide decisions is rare. And rarity is always paid. When you learn to sell outcomes instead of hours, the game changes permanently. But here is the part almost nobody wants to hear. To build leverage and sell emotion, you must become inconvenient. You cannot be available to everyone. You cannot say yes to every invitation. You cannot be the reliable nice guy who is always there. You will leave early. You will wake up while others sleep. You will skip comfort for progress. And eventually, you will have to cut people off, not because you hate them, but because they anchor you to who you used to be. Every person who pulls you back into old habits costs you momentum. Machiavelli warned that anyone who seeks power must expect ease. Money is power. That means resistance is guaranteed. People will say you have changed. They will say money got to you. They will mock you when you start and resent you when you succeed. That envy is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are moving correctly. Think of someone like Elon Musk. In his early years, he was not convenient. He was obsessive. He was polarizing. He slept in factories. He ignored social norms. People laughed at him until they depended on what he built. The same pattern appears everywhere. Progress requires friction. There is no version of wealth that comes with universal approval. Before we move on, anchor this lesson. Go to the comments and write 2 words that reflect what you are choosing. Build leverage, no comfort, something short, summed. Hing clear. This is not motivation, it is alignment, because next we're going to talk about skills, systems, and why most people who finally touch money still lose it. And if you do not understand that part, everything you build can disappear as fast as it arrives. Skills, systems, false wealth, character stress tests. Once you accept that leverage and emotional warfare move money, the next reality hits hard. Leverage without skill is exposure. Exposure without skill is how people get wiped out. This is where most men fail. They chase money before they build capability. Machiavelli would call that marching into battle unarmed. Wealth does not start with money. It starts with a skill that creates value under pressure. Without that, you are dependent, and dependence is weakness. A paycheck is not security. It is permission that can be revoked. A mastered skill follows you anywhere. That is why the highest earners in every era share one trait. They are lethal at something specific. Look at Grant Cardone early on, forget the persona. Before the stages and jets, he mastered sales. Not motivation, not hype. Sales. The ability to move decisions. That one skill pulled high. Out of addiction, out of obscurity, and into capital ownership. Or take Peter Thiel in the early PayPal days. E was not the best coder in the room, E was the one who understood systems, incentives, ND asymmetric bets. E knew how to structure outcomes, A single decision could compound for decades. Here's is why certain skills are paid absurdly well. ALS Detention creation Appital all. Occasion, system design, automation, delegation. These skills scale. Master 1 at the highest level, and you survive anywhere. Master 2, and you become rich. Master 3, and you enter a tier most people will never see. This is not motivational, it is mathematical, which brings us to the next uncomfortable truth. The rich do not work harder, they work differently. They build once and benefit it repeatedly. They create funnels, portfolios, channels, businesses that function without constant supervision. The poor sell presence. The rich sell outcomes. One building can feed 3 generations. One intellectual property asset can pay for decades. That is freedom, not lifestyle freedom, structural freedom. But here is where things get dangerous. Most people do not actually want to be rich. They want to look rich. And that single confusion destroys more fortunes than bad investments ever could. That is why lottery winners end up broke. That is why athletes go bankrupt. That is why someone finally hits a big income year and immediately upgrades everything except their foundation. You have seen it. Someone starts making serious money. They lease a luxury car. They rent an APA. They cannot sustain. They start spending to be seen instead of building to last. 1 year later, the pressure starts. 2 years later, the income dips. And suddenly, they are back where they started, except now with debt and shame. Machiavelli warned that power must be preserved, not just seized. Money works the same way. Real wealth is quiet. It hides in assets, not applause. A finance CD car is not an asset. It is a liability with good marketing. A business that runs without you is an asset. Cash-flowing property is an asset. Equity in productive systems is an asset. Anything that takes money out of your pocket to impress others is a tax on your future. Now ask yourself the question most people avoid. Do you want to be rich? Or do you want people to think you are rich? Be honest. Because money will test you harder than poverty ever did. Poverty makes you suffer. Wealth forces you to choose who you actually are. When the money comes, the real exams begin. Do you invest or indulge? Do you say no when saying yes feels good? Do you protect what you have built or let guilt and emotion drain it? Most first-generation wealth disappears because the person never upgraded their character to match their resources. They built the engine, but never learned how to drive it. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that weakness invites exploitation, and the world does not forgive it. To keep money, you must become someone who can say no, someone who can disappoint others without collapsing, someone who understands that generosity without boundaries is self-death. Ruction. Before we move on, reflect. Go to the comments and write one honest phrase. Build assets, quiet wealth, something that reminds you what actually lasts. Because in the final part, we are going to talk about speed, environment, and the passage from the prince that explains why fortune only favors those who are already prepared. And once you understand that, luck will never look random. Again, speed, circle, the Machiavellian fortune doctrine. Now when skill, leverage, and restraint are in place, the final separation happens internally. This is where outcomes stop being random. This is where fortune stops feeling mysterious. Rule 8 is simple but unforgiving. You must stop thinking like a poor person. Poor thinking is not about income. It is about reflexes. It sounds Lee. Okay, let me just make it to payday. Health matters more than money. All rich people are corrupt. I am not in it for the money. I have a family. I cannot risk it. These are not thoughts. They are permissions to stay small. Rich thinking sounds different. It asks, how do I make this money work for me? What asset does this decision create? Who around me is slowing me down? How do I multiply this? What risk will I regret not taking? When you change the questions, the answers change automatically. Machiavelli would say, you did not change the world. You changed your posture toward it. That leads directly to Rule 9. Money loves speed, not recklessness. Speed of decision. The wealthy do not deliberate endlessly. They assess, decide, and move, while others are reading reviews, asking friend, and waiting for permission. By the time permission arrives, someone else has already taken the position. Opportunities do not disappear because they were fake. They disappear because someone faster claimed them. Look at early crypto infrastructure builders, the ones who built exchanges, custody solutions, payment rails. They did not wait for consensus. They saw a gap and filled it. Or look at private equity operators who buy boring cash flow businesses. They do not overthink. They see fundamentals, structure the deal, and execute. Machiavelli wrote that wars are won before they are fought. The same is true with money. The outcome is decided in the moment of decision, not execution. Rule 10 follows naturally. Your circle decides everything, not motivation, not discipline, environment. If 5 people around you think small, complain, and avoid risk, you will be the 6th. If 5 people around you think in terms of ownership, leverage, and long-term positioning, you will be the 6th. There are no exceptions. This is social gravity. That is why serious people are selective with their time. Not arrogant, intentional. They do not drink with anyone. They do not take advice from people they would not trade lives with. If you open your contacts and do not see a single person who is where you want to be, that is not bad luck. That is feedback. And the correction must be immediate. Now we arrive at the passage you stayed for. Chapter 25 of The Prince. Everyone quotes the first line. Fortune is a woman, and if you wish to master her, you must act boldly. But almost no one reads what comes after. Machiavelli writes that because fortune is changeable, men remain fixed in their ways. Success comes when action and circumstance align. Failure comes when they do not. Machiavelli concludes that it is better to be impetuous than cautious, because fortune favors the bold, the fierce, the audacious. Translated into money language, fortune favors speed, decisiveness, and preparation. Money does not reward hesitation. It rewards those who move while others wait. That is why a 20-year-old with a laptop and urgency can outrun a 50-year-old with credentials and fear. One acts like a predator, the other like prey. But here is the line almost nobody reaches. Machiavelli says fortune reveals her power where defenses have not been built and turns her force where barriers are absent. Translation: money flows where the dams already exist, not where someone hopes, not where someone dreams, where systems, skills, leverage, and teams are already in place. That is why lottery winners go broke. No dams. That is why someone who built a business for 15 years, even if they lose it, often rebuilds faster and bigger. The infrastructure is internal, the discipline, the thinking, the posture. Fortune is not kind, it is responsive. This is the real secret. Become the man who already has dams built, and fortune starts working for you, instead of against you. You stop chasing money. Money starts finding paths toward you, quietly, consistently, predictably. If you stayed to the end, you have already separated yourself from most people. Lock it in. Go to the comments and write the single sentence from this video that hit you the hardest. Just one, the strongest one. Then hit like if this shifted something in you. And if this way of thinking resonates, subscribe and join a growing community of men who are done waiting for permission and ready to build leverage, discipline, and long-term power together. Real progress does not happen alone. Wolves move in packs. The words are done. Only action remains. You are not the same person who started this video. Now go take what you are prepared to keep. Machiavelli would respect that.